Hello. So I just wanted to do a quick video here talking about the PlayStation 5. There's been a lot of talk on like Reddit, um, other like forums, YouTube about PlayStation 5 and its issues. And it's a launch console. There's always some issues at launch, but from what people have said and also my personal experience, I feel like PS5 has a lot more issues than normal, to the point where it's kind of a surprise for Sony to have this many issues with a console. I've bought a PS4 and had no issues before at launch, back when it came out. I've also bought some other consoles such as GameCube, Wii. Try to get a little more light in here. GameCube, Wii, or no, not Wii. Wii I got later on. I had some issues with it, but it had been out for a while when I got it. But I've gotten a PlayStation 4 at launch. Had like pretty much no issues other than the thumbsticks kind of rubber coming off a little bit, which was a known issue, but that was about it. GameCube I got at launch, really had no issues until kind of later on down the road when it stopped reading disc after about 2.5 years. But my second one did the same thing, so that was wasn't really a launch issue per se. And then, like I said, the I've also had I've also got a Switch at launch. Had like zero issues with it. So yeah, I've had a PlayStation 4 at launch, a Wii U, a GameCube, and a Switch. And the Wii U, I had really no issues with either. So that's like four different consoles that I've gone at launch and had no issues with. I've always said that I feel like the whole idea of that the Wii U had, or I feel like the whole idea of launch consoles having issues on day one is overblown big time for the past. But with PlayStation 5, on the other hand, unfortunately, I have to say it does have major issues. There, like I said, when I go on different forums, I'm seeing a lot more issues, complaints, or whatever than I have in the past with other consoles. Like you go on Reddit, it seems like almost every couple posts is uh, um, someone reporting that they've had the console freeze on them or shut itself off type of thing. And so yeah, I feel like Sony's got a lot to figure out here, and it doesn't look good. I don't know what's going on. Really big surprise for Sony to have this many issues because it's just not something that I'm used to seeing out of Sony products, be it TVs, consoles, whatever. So yeah, that's disappointing in that regard. And personally, for me, that goes to my issues here is I got a PlayStation 5 on launch day, and we've had I think two system updates since the system came out about 3.5 weeks ago. And in that time, I haven't had an improvement on my issues with either of the two firmware upgrades, and I'm having a lot of issues overall. I've had, like going into my details here, since the system came out in about 3.5 weeks, I've probably had about 15 times where around, give or take a couple, where the system has either shut itself off completely, and when it has, I've felt and it doesn't feel like crazy warm or anything like that, like it's overheating or anything like that. And I do have a lot of space for it, so it shouldn't be like an overheating issue. But yeah, I've had about 15 times where it's either shut off or frozen to the point where I can't like turn it off in like a normal way, where I basically have to unplug it and then it has to go through the rebuilding the database or hard drive or whatever type of thing, as well as kicking me back out to the system main menu. So yeah, like 15 times having basically shut down, freeze, or kicking me back out to the main menu. And that's a lot in not even a month of time. By far the most I've seen out of a Sony product. So I don't know what's going on with that. It's a disappointment that PlayStation 5 is having all these issues. I kind of feel like Sony rushed it out the door, and that maybe it was a COVID thing that, hurt the development and kind of slowed things down. And maybe they're a few months back in terms of like trying to give out system updates and stuff to fix this issue, because it's just not something you expect from them. 15 shutdowns / crashes type of thing in less than a month, I feel like is, just crazy and unacceptable, really, and very frustrating. It's got to the point where when I've been playing, I'm almost at the point where I'm expecting the system to like crash in some regard, either freeze, shut down, or kick me back out to the system menu. It's gotten that bad. I even had the other day 3 times in a row where the system basically shut itself off with me just trying to get to Disney Plus app, including one time where it literally froze at the system's main menu, wouldn't even let me try to open an app or anything, sort of thing. And then I even had later that night, playing Spider-Man, I had a freeze where I was playing, and for a couple seconds it like slowed down and then it froze, but I could still hear like the sound. So it was like the sound of the game was still kind of going, but the game itself had frozen, like the picture, even though you could hear the dialogue, and I couldn't turn it off with the controller or with the power button on the system. Had to unplug it. So yeah, just disappointed I've had to do all that. And it's frustrating. Luckily I had a little bit of luck in some regard. We'll see how this goes, but because I was not sure quite what to do, because the system hasn't been out that long. Some people have been talking about how it hasn't been out that long. We'll get more patches and stuff that hopefully resolve some of these issues that people are having, including myself. But I didn't know if I should wait for those updates to come out, or what. And I typically, I feel like in general I have bad luck with tech breaking on me, not necessarily launch consoles per se, but just issues with consoles themselves. Like I said, I had a couple of GameCubes that stopped reading disc. I had a PS3 that I got about a year after launch. That got a lot of death, and it also, like kind of like the disc with the GameCube, happened after about 2.5 years. And it was weird too, because when I got the yellow light death, which is an overheating issue, if you don't know, on PS3, that wasn't that common, but some people got it. But the odd thing about it was I was only probably playing for like 10-20 minutes when it happened, so I don't think the system really was being worked like super crazy hard. It wasn't like I was playing for 10 hours straight or anything like that. And yet the system apparently overheated when that happened. So yeah, I don't know. I've also had a Wii, where basically I'd say it's kind of the equivalent to the Joy-Con issue in a sense, where when I would be using the Wii, and I got a Wii late. I got it in 2010, when Donkey Kong Country Returns came out. I basically got a Wii for that and Zelda. I have a couple other games, but I basically got it for those two games, and as a result, I haven't really put like a lot of time on that console. I put way more time on pretty much every other console I have, for the most part. And yet I had issues with the Wii, where basically when I'd be playing, my character would be moving when I wouldn't even be touching the controller, as well as, and that actually started happening when I was getting close to the end on Skyward Sword, Zelda Skyward Sword. And so I couldn't really play until I got that issue resolved. I sent it into Nintendo. I wasn't under warranty anymore. I don't know how long I'd had the console, but it's probably a little bit past the year, like a year and a couple months. I sent it to Nintendo, had to pay a little bit to get it fixed. They sent it back. It worked for about a month, and then the issue basically started up again. And on top of the fact that I wouldn't even be touching anything, and my character would be moving or whatever, on top of that, a lot of times I couldn't even get the controller to sync with the Wii. And I actually got another Wii controller not long after I started having those issues. At first, just thinking it was the controller itself, but when I got the new controller, it didn't really fix anything. So I think it was actually like the Bluetooth inside the Wii that connects that connects to control, like the motion sensor or whatever, with the Wii being such a motion control system. I think it was something with that not working right. And like I said, I got it back, and only about a month later was having issues. So yeah, I feel like I've had a lot of issues with tech, but at the same time, I've never really had this much issues as I've had with the PlayStation 5 at launch when I've gotten a system. Even when I've gotten systems in the past and had some issues, it's been a little bit further down the road. I guess in a sense, you could say it's better to have it happen when you're under warranty, but it's still frustrating. But in terms of what I was saying of perhaps kind of some good news, and we'll see how this goes, and might have to make a following video in a week or two if I'm having less issues or more issues or the same or whatever, is I figured, like I said, I didn't quite know what to do, if I should hold on to it, wait for more patches and see if that fixes it. I actually this morning ended up rebuilding the database and reset the console to see if that would fix things, because I know people say sometimes that when there's like a firmware update, that sometimes like the system it'll get kind of like a corrupt update, if you will, and that resetting the database can fix things. So I did that this morning, but I hadn't actually played any today because I've been watching football all day. In fact, just finished watching a football game. I'm going to go to bed after I finish this video. But yeah, I sent it in, so I did that, and then I was going to try and see if I had more issues over the next week or two. Now, then I kind of my plans and whatnot kind of changed, because the thing too I was thinking about is, I know the system's under warranty and all, but I didn't really want to have to send it into Sony, because the thing is, if you send a product into Sony, chances are they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to give you a refurbished system, and I don't like having like a reused console, especially because then I feel like I already have bad luck enough with tech breaking that I don't really want a used console. Or they're going to try to fix your console that you have, which I mean, it's good if it gets fixed, but at the same time, I still kind of worry that, because it's a used console, and that the issue, kind of like when I had the issue with the Wii, that they'll send it back and that the issue will be fixed maybe for a short time and then it'll start up again. So I kind of like a fresh new console. But because of the way usually things work when you send it into the company, it's usually refurbished, I believe, or they fix the console rather than giving you a new one. And then with the store I bought from Best Buy, I had seen that I had till like January 16th to do basically a return. I've never tried to like return like an electronic thing, like a TV, console, anything like that you could say is kind of big, something that's not just 20-30 bucks or something like a movie or even like a game that's 60, but something that costs several hundred, maybe even 1,000 or whatever. I've never tried to return anything like that, so I wasn't really sure what the return policy is on that and everything, in terms of like, can you get your money back? Can you exchange for a new one? All that, plus the fact that this console is hard to get right now. So, I kind of figured that trying to exchange the console for a new one would be basically impossible, because I didn't think the places had it. But it turns out that, from what I heard from Best Buy when I went in there today, that they actually are saving a couple consoles for the store in case people have issues that they can basically exchange for the console. And so I was actually able to luckily exchange the console I had for another one. So hopefully this second console now will not have all these freezing shutdown issues that the first one had. And I got that set up tonight, spent basically several hours reinstalling like the 6 games I have, because it takes a while to install games and everything, and especially because updates nowadays and everything. But yeah, I reinstalled the 6 games I have on the console, got it set up, haven't actually played it yet. I'll start playing again tomorrow, and hopefully this second console won't have all these freezing bug issues that the first console had. Just big surprise, like I said, for me personally. I feel like the fact that I had this many issues with the first PlayStation 5 I got, but I'm glad that the store had a second one, or had some, because I didn't know that they were going to keep some in case people had issues. I just figured, they were going to be completely 100% out until like January. And so that I wasn't sure if I would even have an option to exchange, because I kind of figured by the time stores would actually be in stock enough where people could just like simply go in and get it, that by then that I would be past that January 16th date for a return. And so I would be basically screwed when it comes to return, and would have to do the Sony return option if was still having issues, if patches and stuff didn't fix it. So we haven't had a patch, I believe, in about 2 weeks for the console. Firmware upgraded for about 2 weeks for the console. So in that regard, I'm not sure when the next upgrade is going to come out, if it'll resolve issues that people have, but I'm hoping for myself that just getting the new system, that maybe the first one I got was just kind of a limit, if you will. Because the thing is with consoles or any electronic is, typically you have if you have like a 2-3% malfunction rate, that's considered good. And that's a low percentage, but at the same time, if you have, even if you have 1%, and there's a million consoles out there, that comes out to 10,000, I believe. Yeah, 10,000. That would be 10,000 consoles that are having issues, and that's on a pretty low side, because chances are there's been a lot more than 1 million PlayStation 5s sold by now, and 1% would be really, really low. So there's probably 50,000, 60,000 consoles out there or something that are having issues. which when out of several million or whatever, that's pretty low, really. But I feel like maybe I got one of those, unfortunately. So hopefully the second one works out better, and we'll see for people who are having issues like me, if they don't get a chance to exchange for another console, hopefully updates and stuff will fix their issues. So that's basically this video. It's just that I got a new console. I'm hoping it'll have less issues than the first one, and we'll see over the next few weeks if I don't have issues. The thing too, real quick, is that I've heard a lot of people say that a lot of the issues are being caused by putting the system into safe mode, as well as stolen hard drives. I have used a stolen hard drive. However, the first week and a half or so, I was only playing PlayStation 5 games, so I hadn't went ahead and transferred any PlayStation 4 games over, and I wasn't playing any PlayStation 4 games or had it stolen or anything. And even in that week and a half or so, I think I had something like 5 crashes on the system in a week and a half without an install. And in the 3.5 weeks, I have not used rest mode once. Every single time I've turned the console off, because I've heard the people having those issues, I haven't been using rest mode to try to be on the safe side, even though at the same time, if your console's going to actually break, I guess in a sense it's good to happen in the first year since you got the manufacturer warranty. But still, I was kind of worried about that, so I haven't really been using rest mode. And even with not using rest mode, I've still been having the issues. And even when I didn't use external hard drive, I was having issues. And the fact that I had all these issues even trying to get to Disney Plus the other night. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's been interesting, frustrating too, because like I said, it got to the point where I was almost expecting the system to crash. It had gone so bad. So yeah, just hopefully this second one will work out better. But yeah, like I said, I've been trying to avoid the things that people have said have caused issues, and yet I've still having issues. And I've heard different things. I've heard people say that Marvel Spider-Man remaster and as well as Miles Morales are causing issues, but I've also heard people say Call of Duty is causing issues. So I don't really know if certain games are really causing issues or not, or if that's more just a coincidence that people are playing something when it happens to crash or whatnot. But yeah, I'm just wanting your comments, or I'm just wondering for anybody that watches this, are you having issues with a PS5? If you have gotten one, are you having a lot of freezing and shutdowns? If you have one, if you do have a PS5, and you're not having major issues, are you having small issues, or have you been basically issue free? Just kind of wondering where you fall on that to see, because maybe I'm just having bad luck. But like I said, I feel like I'm seeing more posts in the past than other people. Even with PlayStation 4, going back to that, I know there were some issues when the console came out. I remember hearing some about people were having the system eject games on its own or something like that. But I don't ever remember anything to the extreme of the console shutting itself off and freezing up all the time and stuff like that, which is major, because I always worry when a console shuts itself off, type of things, that one, overheating, and two, then because a lot of times then you have to rebuild the database or whatnot, and the fact that you're not supposed to unplug the console type of thing is going to mess up the hard drive and basically screw the system up completely and make it brick. That's why I worry so much about that compared to disk ejecting. That's annoying, but at the same time, I don't worry that that's going to basically make the system 100% not even want to turn on, which is what I worry about with more of these issues. So yeah, I just want to see your comments below. If you, like I said, if you've got a PS5 or you're having issues at all, major ones, small ones, nothing, that type of thing. So yeah, I'm looking more for the people that have the console rather than people that don't, just to see kind of what your experience is. But yeah, hopefully I'll have less issues, and I'll report back in, like I said, in probably a couple of weeks once I've actually gotten a decent amount of time with the console, with the second console, to see if I'm still having all those freezes or if I'm not having anything. Because it could take a little bit to know, because sometimes, even with the console I would sometimes go a couple days without freezing, then all of a sudden I would have a couple days where I'd have 5 freezes, so shutdowns type of thing. So it's hard to say if you go a couple days, that could just be a coincidence. But if I am able to play this second one and it goes 2-3 weeks and I've had no shutdowns, or maybe just 1 or 2 here and there, then I can kind of have confidence in it. Because even you know, the PlayStation 4, I didn't really have issues with it, but no console's 100% perfect. So even, you know, once in a blue moon, the PlayStation 4 would freeze on me or something. But if it's happening once in a while, it's not a big issue, obviously. But if it's happening all the time, like my PS5 was, then that's a bigger issue because then you worry about it breaking completely. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling on here. I'm just going to end this video here. Like I said, comments, subscribe below, as always, if you like this. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.